YouTubers. So I'm going to take a minute and just explain what the hell's going on around here a little better. What you're going to get out of this channel is content, and albeit somewhat unpredictable content, but content nonetheless. And some of it is stream of thought, kind of free thinking, free range thinking. Here's the deal. I'm going to stain this wood top. And I know Av likes metal benches, and I do too. But I don't have a metal bench right now. And getting started. And this is the other thing with the channel. If failure is not an option, I must succeed. And things are a little weird lately. And I know for a fact that I'm not the only one, like, out there dealing with weird shit. Period. I can't think of anybody that's not. So metal bench. This, just FYI, move some stuff here. This is a charging pad, wireless charging pad. You guys don't have one of these or know what this is? Put your phone on it, it charges it wirelessly. It's fucking cool. The other thing is, eventually they're going to start making surfaces with those built right into them if they don't already. I think they do somewhere. And you just set your phone down on like a countertop or whatever, boom, your phone charges. Material science, right? So if I don't have a metal bench and I want a surface, a good surface, this is 3/4 decking, chipped MDF. Right, I think it's MDF. I don't think it's HDF. It's exterior rated. Whatever. 454, 4824 sheeting. And this is another 3/4 particle. So you're talking about 1.5 inches of wood here. And then if I take this and put it on top of it, and then I've got a metal surface to beat on if I need to, or clamp to, or ground per se. And it's only this big, but it is a surface. And this is an interesting piece of metal. You can say I've worked it here a little bit because I thought it was cool. But if you ever try to work copper, this is like an explosion bond. I don't know how, it's what they call it. You can look it up. But essentially, it's seriously about 3/8, I don't know, ½ inch. I could mic it out, I guess, if I knew where my stuff was laying around. I just cleaned up too well recently. I don't really have a mic. I've got a little caliper. I've got a measuring tape. Thin steel over fairly thick copper. Interesting stuff. And used in industrial applications for making cookware. It's also used in the military for like battleships. You hit this thing, and that copper is real tough. I'm sorry, the steel's tough on the inside, and the copper resists corrosion, on the outside for battleships and stuff. So YouTube is a big place. It's a huge community, and I'm in a little community. I'm in Boulder, Colorado, and part of what I deal with in my life is, pretty touchy stuff. Some of it's even legal, and kind of throwing everything out there and making the whole showing everybody what's the junk in your drawers is exactly why Av and Bolter, whichever personality he has that day, is as a set of disembodied hands. I'm going to, unfortunately, in my opinion, anyways, because I do respect Eric and Chad and everybody who just points the camera right at themselves. But at the same time, there's certain risk, I guess. Risk. How far out can you see here? So I'm going to start to I like the color black. It's just, and I'm in my living room. And so I'm just going to, while I babble here, I've got a bunch of the stain left over. and it's black. It's really good stuff, actually. If you've never used it, I would recommend you give it a shot. It's actually too dark, maybe, for some applications, depending on how dark you like your blacks. And sort of talk here for a minute. It might be longer than I want it to be. We're working on 5 minutes already, so I might have to break this up into 2 videos. But the point is that I'm going to start to ask for support and subscribers from people that know me, like my friends. And I have a few. I would think it would be awesome if my channel got big enough that people, my friends, wanted to join me or be like a guest, make a guest appearance on my YouTube channel. Because I have some radically cool, I know awesome people, awesome people. I've been an electrician in the area for on and off for over 20 years. I took a hiatus after my family business went out of business doing electrical contracting. Seriously, I felt like it was brain damage to stay in contracting. And even though for me it was sort of a timing thing, apparently there was a lot of guys that got out during that time because I keep forgetting we had this funny recession, and a lot of people left Colorado for a minute, and then the same people came back once Colorado started to grow again. So in the meantime, I during had to be from about 90, I don't know, 95 to 05, something like that. Those like 10 years were a struggle. I'm actually still struggling, but I have much more knowledge. I have a firmer knowledge base of a very important part of the puzzle, and that part of the puzzle is me. Mental illness. If you guys know who Kanye West is, or Kid Cudi, those guys talk about some stuff that it's hard to talk about, frankly. And Be Calm and Carry On, is not wasn't just a bumper sticker. This Be Calm and Carry On, as far as the British were concerned, was a survival tactic. That wasn't Be Calm and Carry On because your internet's down. That's Be Calm and Carry On when the guy next to you just got his head blown off, and you don't really get to take a minute to like go, hey Bob, wow, we just had like breakfast a minute ago, and now your head's blown off. I never served in the military. I had at one point been diagnosed with a PTSD syndrome that was acute and comparable to, or like one degree down from somebody who'd actually served like frontline, like in battle, not just gone to the military for service, but was deployed. All right, where are we? We're at 8 minutes. I'm trying to keep these under 10 minutes. I don't even think I scratched the surface of what I was intending to talk about. So I'm going to go for a couple more minutes here and see if I can start to dial it in a little bit. So yeah, Colorado, man. I'm trying to keep it real out here, We're talking about things that real people go through all the time, every day. And that's the point of this, is community. First of all, for me, and second of all, as an awareness for anybody else who wants to support me or who may need support themselves, like the Single Dads of America squad. These are this is a concept. There's power in us sticking together. I think there was sort of a general stick together thing, and then there was like, people would kind of nitpick about certain things, maybe between townships or even in neighborhoods. They were really legal or political issues. They were just people kind of working out how to work with the particular people in a community. But the overall law, the overriding understanding of law was there to be enacted or to be enforced. If you actually needed somebody to intervene, but for the most part, you took sort of considerations sort of for your customers. I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but if somebody needed the milk delivered a special way, or if someone answered, if you got a guy, in the neighborhood that answered the door in a dress all the time, and you just sort of got used to it or something, or you just dealt with, or let's say somebody just different. I mean, it was when I was growing up, having like the weird people in the neighborhood. I swear to God, every house had a different weirdo in it. Like, oh, that weird lady, she's single because her husband and her kid died. Well, yeah, she's not just single, but she was like a recluse and didn't go out much, and it was kind of okay. Everybody knew why. Like, it wasn't like, oh, she's weird for it, or she's got to get tons of therapy, or get her out again dating. It wasn't. There's nothing wrong with her. There was literally nothing wrong with her. I had a girlfriend who spent her whole life, as she, in her own words, $1 million in therapy, and one of the things she got out of me succinctly, like just bluntly, after she told me her story, which was it's absolutely heartbreaking. It's the worst story. I mean, it's the story nobody wants to hear, and it's R-rated, and it's the thing that dads don't do to daughters. And what I'm getting at is, when I told her, hey, bottom line is you had this experience, and anybody who had that experience would probably feel like you do. You probably feel violated and scared and confused and all the things that go along with an experience like that. And because that's just how people feel when they have those types of experiences, that's normal. So I know that you've been talked to your whole life, and that people have told you that you have things to work on, and and sure you do, and you want to be more like other people. That's fine. But if you take any people, any quote unquote normal people, and you put them through that experience, they're going to act a lot of the same way you did. They're going to have the same kind of reaction or response. You can pick your word there. They're very dicey words. You get into the reaction and response, and people will judge your ass on that. And most people would react like you do, or respond like you do, or like you did. And so therefore, from a straight clinical psychological standpoint, what she is and who she is and how she is and why she is normal. And she never heard that. Now that kind of normal is very uncomfortable for the rest of us, and we don't even want to. I'll tell you what, you talk to that person enough, you might think that you know stuff. Oh, that might have just killed this video.